Arne Slot, a name that has swiftly become synonymous with tactical renewal and fresh energy on the fields of Anfield, now finds himself leading a club through one of the most delicate and intriguing moments of its recent talent retention policy. While the Reds continue to battle for domestic and European glory under a revitalized identity, behind the scenes of world football, a true case of sporting espionage seems to be unfolding. Real Madrid are reportedly plotting an audacious move that could shake the very foundations of Slot's defense. The target? None other than Ibrahima Konaté, the towering French centre-back whose physical presence, game-reading ability and composure on the ball have made him an essential cog in Liverpool's defensive machine. And the most surprising twist? The secret weapon Los Blancos intend to use to convince Konaté not to renew with the English club and instead sign a pre-contract in January 2026 is none other than Kylian Mbappé. Yes, the French superstar and the new icon of the Santiago Bernabeu. According to bombshell reports from Spain, particularly from the influential Defensa Central, President Florentino Perez has already mobilized Mbappé as a sort of luxury ambassador to seal the defender's fate, turning the international break into a stage for covert negotiations disguised as casual conversations between compatriots. The situation is fascinating for several reasons. Firstly, because Konaté, at 26, is at the very peak of his career. Strong, mature, experienced, and still with room to grow. He has become one of the pillars of Arne Slot's defence, forming a solid and dynamic partnership with Virgil van Dijk, and his departure on a free transfer in the summer of 2026 would represent not only a technical loss, but also a symbolic blow to Liverpool's long-term project. The club have already offered him a new, more lucrative deal with modern clauses, yet negotiations remain at a silent impasse. Konaté, for his part, has maintained a deliberately ambiguous stance, neither rejecting nor accepting the proposal, simply observing and waiting. According to respected sources such as David Ornstein, The Athletic, and Dean Jones, Team Talk, the Frenchman is perfectly comfortable with his position of power, fully aware that his market value and emotional appeal have never been higher. He knows that by waiting, he not only keeps Liverpool in suspense, but also opens the door to one of the most glamorous clubs on the planet. A club that sees in him the perfect piece to rejuvenate a defence that, while still competitive, faces uncertainty over the futures of Antoine Rudiger and David Alaba, both out of contract after the 2025-26 season. What makes this entire saga even more cinematic is Mbappé's role. Far from being just a dazzling forward, Real Madrid's number 10 is being used, and seemingly willingly, as a genuine agent of charm for the merengue club. During the current international break, with the French national team preparing for the 2026 World Cup qualifiers against Azerbaijan and Iceland, the two players will have plenty of quality time together. And it's precisely in that informal environment between laughter, training sessions and team meals that Mbappé is expected to play his most delicate role, selling the dream of Madrid. Not with financial promises or title guarantees, though those are implied, but with friendship, French identity, and a shared vision of greatness.
Excited but natural, British-English accent. Konaté himself has even joked about it publicly. In a recent interview with French channel Téléfoot, he said with a wry smile that Mbappé calls him every 2 hours to convince him to leave Liverpool. Of course, it was said in jest, but as the old saying goes, every joke carries a grain of truth. And the very fact that Konaté made the comment publicly shows not only that he is aware of Madrid's interest, but that he's quite comfortable with the attention, perhaps even fueling it. For Real Madrid, this isn't merely about signing a defender, it's about completing a strategic cycle. After missing out on William Saliba, their so-called dream target, according to the ever-reliable Fabrizio Romano, who instead renewed with Arsenal, the Spaniards turned their attention to Konaté with renewed intensity. The logic is clear. Saliba may represent the ideal future of modern defending, but Konaté offers something equally valuable: athletic strength, tactical versatility, and a winning mentality forged in the Premier League, the toughest league in the world. Moreover, his French nationality fits perfectly into Florentino Perez's current project to strengthen ties with French football, especially following Mbappe's triumphant arrival. Signing Konaté wouldn't merely be a defensive acquisition, it would be a statement, proof that Real Madrid are building a French core of elite players capable of dominating both in Spain and across Europe. And of course, doing so without spending a penny, since the player would be in the final year of his contract, would make the deal even more irresistible for the club's accountants. Meanwhile, Liverpool are far from passive observers. Despite the deadlock in talks, sources close to the club, including France's respected L'Équipe, claim that the Reds still feel confident that Konaté will ultimately sign the new deal. After all, he has adapted perfectly to the city, the club, and Arne Slot's footballing philosophy, which values centre-backs who can build play with precision and bravery. What's more, the atmosphere at Anfield has rarely been so positive. Passionate supporters, a cohesive sporting project, and a clear ambition to win trophies in the coming years. Liverpool offer more than just the salary. They offer belonging. Still, as Reds fans know too well, football history is filled with almosts and maybes. Until Konaté puts pen to paper, the ghost of Real Madrid will continue to hover over Anfield, a reminder that in today's transfer market, loyalty and friendship often compete directly with glamour and historical grandeur. There's another curious detail. This isn't the first time Real Madrid have used their own players as informal recruiters. It's an old, almost artisanal tactic, but an incredibly effective one. We've seen Cristiano Ronaldo, Zinedine Zidane, and even Luka Modric play similar roles in the past, persuading international teammates or close friends to join the club. What makes the Mbappé-Konaté case even more intriguing is the context. Both are French, both are in their prime, and both represent distinct yet complementary generations of French football. Mbappé, the face of the present and near future; Konaté, the silent wall who could safeguard the striker's dreams for years to come. If the strategy works, Real Madrid would not only gain a world-class defender, but also reinforce their influence within the French national team itself, something Florentino Perez sees as a geopolitical asset almost as valuable as any trophy. As the footballing world watches with fascination this silent dance between Madrid, Liverpool and Paris, for the French national team is where it all unfolds, other stories are also taking shape across Europe. Both Real Madrid and Barcelona, for instance, are monitoring a La Liga wonderkid whose name is being whispered with reverence behind the scenes. A talent so bright, he's already attracting attention from Manchester United, Tottenham and Chelsea.
At the same time, Madrid have reportedly made a final decision regarding Rodri, the Manchester City midfielder, whose latest injury appears to have sealed his fate in Perez's long-term plans. And in a poetic twist of nostalgia, veteran Ángel Di María, once a star at Real Madrid, has publicly praised one of the club's new summer signings, reinforcing the notion that the renewal cycle at Madrid is more alive than ever. But back to Konaté. His decision is not merely about football, it's about identity, ambition, and legacy. Staying at Liverpool would mean cementing himself as a modern Anfield hero, part of a new era under Arne Slot, with the chance to etch his name alongside the club's legendary defenders. Moving to Real Madrid, on the other hand, would mean stepping into the pantheon of football immortals, donning a shirt steeped in centuries of glory and competing for titles with near mechanical regularity. Both paths are worthy, both are tempting, and it's precisely this duality that makes the wait so tense and so thrilling. Because ultimately, what's at stake here isn't just one player's future, but the very soul of two of world football's greatest clubs. And as Mbappé whispers Madrid's charms into his ear, Konaté knows that in Anfield, thousands of voices still sing his name, hoping he'll choose to stay. The ball now is at his feet, or rather, in his heart.